Have you been maintaining the COVID-19 containment protocols? Yes, the curfew hours have been extended and certain entertainment activities have been allowed. But the saying, to whom much is given, much is expected, is even more relevant now. We should all strive to abide by the measures as we acclimatize ourselves to living in the age of COVID. After all, we are one Jamaica, one family.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Monday, July 19, 2021. Government will soon be rolling out a training program to inform members of the education sector how to treat with gender-based violence. Education Minister Fable Williams made the announcement last week as she welcomed the Sexual Harassment Protection and Prevention Bill that was passed in the House of Representatives.
Under the Spotlight Initiative, in partnership with United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, NGOs have been contracted to develop a training program in gender-based violence for the ministry, for the officers, for the teachers, for guidance counselors and the deans of discipline to build their capacity to treat with this matter at the school level and to act as trainer of trainers to build the capacity of other local stakeholders.
Training will commence the last week in July for ministry officers and by the end of August for teachers. She says the ministry is also embarking on other initiatives to curtail sexual harassment and gender-based violence in the education sector. The sexual harassment module in the Health and Family Life Education curriculum is being updated in alignment with the new legislation. This module will be delivered at the primary and secondary levels of the education system. Additionally, the ministry's draft National Safe School Policy is being revised to enhance provisions on bullying and harassment, among other areas of concern. Meanwhile, a curriculum has been developed to educate parents on how to treat with sexual harassment. It was developed by the National Parenting Support Commission in collaboration with United Nations Children's Fund and Parenting Partners Caribbean.
One of the units of the curriculum features sexual harassment and will be implemented in 5 parishes: Westmoreland, St. James, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Thomas and Clarendon. Facilitators will be trained across several agencies to deliver the curriculum to parents in these 5 communities.
The Education Minister says the National Parenting Support Commission has also incorporated a module on sexual harassment in its training program for parent mentors. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, will be establishing a specialized police unit to respond to violent crimes in St. James. The unit, Specialized Operations West, will have specially trained officers.
It is a process of getting perhaps 200, 250 specially trained police officers, similar to what is in Kingston, similar to what persons saw probably on social media at Oaklands the other day, or SWAT teams, etc. Here in St. James, that can respond very rapidly to evolving, emerging situations or ongoing situations, and locating them up in Montego Hills, right in the middle of the problem.
To assist with this mobilization, Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson says the force has tripled its capacity to train police officers. Since April, the JCF has graduated 254 constables, with another 712 recruits currently in training.
What I'm producing are young Jamaicans who are professional law enforcement officers, who are highly trained, who are adaptable, who can deal with a domestic situation can help somebody to cross the road, or they can face danger and violence.
Commissioner Anderson was speaking at the recent opening of the upgraded Mount Salem Police Station. In related news, $320 million has been spent on social investment and intervention programs in the Mount Salem Zone of Special Operations. That's according to the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, which is leading government's build phase in the zone. JSIF's Managing Director Omar Sweeney says the funds have been spent on removing zinc fence, road rehabilitation, youth engagement, skills training, solid waste management, beautification, and infrastructure upgrades to light and water. There are plans to sign a contract for rehabilitation works to the Mount Salem Primary and Infant School in August. And the commitment to accelerate land regularization and titling is now taking shape.
We have started that work. We're about midterm with respect to getting the land surveyed and being able to splinter and identify the titled properties. So that will be the last major aspect or intervention that would be required in this Mount Salem from a social intervention standpoint. And so we will continue to work and support the community.
And finally, the Ministry of Health will be taking aim at inaccurate or misleading food labeling information in the market, which it says hinders consumers' ability to make proper nutritional choices. The need for intervention was highlighted in the results of a study on the assessment of fats in the Jamaica food system. The study, which sought to determine the concentrations of trans fatty acids in commonly consumed Jamaican foods, was unveiled during a virtual launch last week. It reveals that the labels on some packaged foods contain incorrect nutritional information or provide no information on certain ingredients, including unhealthy fats. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says the findings will be used to formulate a plan of action, which will be discussed with the relevant stakeholders and eventually brought to Cabinet for its approval.
It is frightening to me that if I go to the supermarket and I take up a label and I look and I read 0 trans fat, but then when it's subject to the scientific test, you find that there is a level of trans fat in that particular item. As far as I'm concerned, that represents misleading information, misleading advertising, and we have a duty to correct that wrong.
The study was conducted by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the CARICOM Food and Nutrition Project, the Global Public Health Initiative Resolve to Save Lives, and the University of Technology. Lead researcher on the study, Professor Fitzroy Henry, says it has revealed that Jamaicans are consuming too much unhealthy fats, such as trans fats. The findings from the study will set the foundation to help the country meet the World Health Organization's goal of eliminating trans fats by 2023 and implementation of PAHO's Plan of Action to eliminate industrially produced trans fats by 2025. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
I am Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice, and with the support of the European Union, we intend to build a first-class justice system. The contribution of the European Union to the Jamaica justice system is enormous. We believe that this partnership with the European Union has been beneficial to Jamaica, and we hope that further assessment will demonstrate that the partnership between the European Union and Jamaica is one that has not only been game-changing, but will continue in the years ahead. The most significant achievement, in my opinion, was the Court of Appeal. Before the Court of Appeal was rebuilt, only 7 judges could have been appointed. Now we can appoint 12 judges, plus the president of the court, and this will ensure that at that level in the Court of Appeal, cases will move expeditiously. It will set the tone for how we engage in backlog reduction.
The Houses of Parliament complex is set to start early in the 2022-2023 financial year. Detailed designs and drawings for the building have been completed and building approvals have been granted by the various authorities. Have a look at the vision for the building.
Our vision is that Kingston must be like what London is to the United Kingdom. We want Kingston to be like what Singapore is to Asia. Kingston should be like what Paris is to France. Kingston must be like what South Africa is to the motherland. We want Kingston, Jamaica, to be the epicenter of the Caribbean region.
And that vision starts with the construction of a new Houses of Parliament complex, the anchoring structure for the proposed Government Oval. To be built within the 300 acres of land surrounding the National Heroes Park, the Oval will have 14 government ministries, agencies and departments, centrally located to the hub of business and the 7th largest natural harbour in the world. Since the advent of universal adult suffrage in 1944, Jamaicans have had a hand in choosing those who will represent their interests and direct the affairs of the state on their behalf. But long before this important marker in history, Jamaicans have been resolved on the need of a central location from which the affairs of the people are to be administered. Today, Gordon House on Duke Street is that seat of government. This two-story building became the official meeting place of the Jamaican government on Wednesday, October 26, 1960. Like other sites of the past which were found unsuitable for one reason or another, Gordon House is now poised to make way for the march of progress and designation of a new meeting place for the people's representatives.
Gordon House was designed and built for meetings of the municipal council. So the fact is that Gordon House was always a temporary House of Parliament. Aside from the issue of insufficient space, lack of adequate parking, and facilities to interact and engage with the public, the building itself lacks the stature and functionality of a modern parliament.
So for decades, various governments have pondered and pursued plans for a new parliament building. Time and again, the consensus was clear. The legislative arm of government should be situated in the place where the nation's heroes are honored, a place where history has left its mark. Heroes Circle, as Jamaicans now know it to be, was once the Kingston Racecourse, the island's premier location for horse racing. The racecourse grounds also hosted cricket, cycling, traveling circuses, and many other entertainment-based events. Around since 1783, the property, previously named Montgomery Pen, was purchased in 1818 by the Kingston Council. It was on these grounds that former slaves celebrated full freedom in 1838, and decades later, Queen Victoria's Golden and Diamond Jubilees. The Jamaica National Exhibition of 1891 was also held on these grounds, at the site of what is now the Wolmer's School. Renamed the George VI Memorial Park in 1953, a war memorial was also erected to honor those who served in the First and Second World Wars. Then, in 1956, as the island was making the transition from British rule to full self-governance, the local authority passed the King George VI Memorial Park Act. This law was designed to wind up operations at the Kingston Racecourse, which would later, in 1973, be renamed in honor of those who played a heroic role in shaping our great nation.
This act primarily designated the Kingston Racecourse as an area of recreation, public gardens, entertainment, and so forth. It also designated that the minister had the authority to designate certain areas as the location for the new parliamentary building.
And I share that vision. that we should make Hero Circle the center, the government circle. We are announcing today the start of what we call government circle.
Making good on that announcement, a non-binding agreement was signed with China Construction America for the conceptualization and design of a model.
The idea is to use this project as the catalyst for the regeneration, revitalization of this great asset that we have, downtown Kingston.
This building will seek to bring the people of Jamaica and their elected representatives in a closer harmony and oneness of purpose by Jamaicans for Jamaicans.
I think the quality and standard of architecture that was submitted and selected is really at the highest level.
All the designs are very open, very transparent, allowing not just air and light to circulate.
Any of the five chosen, we would have a spectacular building which Jamaica will be proud of.
The 5 finalists will be working to improve their designs and to detail them, as well as to look at costings. And that will come to a close in January of 2019, when the jury will do its final sitting and review, and we will select the first, second and third prize winners.
The standard is now set. The expectations have been kind of cast. I think the next steps and the future is really bright.
We expect certainly Parliament will be completed in the next 2 years. The government overall will take a little longer time because we have to do the feasibility work and the community consultation, all of which just started. And we expect that with the Parliament and the government overall, when completed, it will be an iconic setting.
Dear Mr. Prime Minister, what is going to happen to the people of my community, Allman Town?
I am 54 and I've been here from I was born, because my grandmother used to send here, my mother and also me. So I really don't want to remove.
The government can't prepare so much job for the whole away. So why not develop out here, make we can look after our children?
I'm not talking about displacing the people who are there, because you know what, it is the people that brings the vibrancy to the area.
The UDC has plans to build 5,000 homes for various income bands and create 27 acres of green space.
I like the evolution of the space itself based on the basis of the act, but we must be mindful of the surrounding communities.
I'd love to see that there's some form of recreational facility inside of the park for the residents, especially the children. And so, you know, first they can play the little football or the little netball, any form of activity there. As long as there's space for that, then I'm good with it.
The King George Act, which spoke to kind of the idea or the premise that a Parliament building could be in the park, but also that the park is for the people, I think that was captured in the 5 designs. You know, I don't think that there's one project that ignored the public importance of that park.
We hope to see the development take place in a manner where all residents are sensitized, we are engaged, we are involved and included in the process.
My concern is that they are not giving as much information on what's going on.
We have engaged the premier government agency, the Social Development Commission, to assist us in that regard, to meet the people in their communities, to talk to them, to explain what are our thoughts, to listen to them, and to be guided by some of their ideas.
It is not for the comfort of the parliamentarians. It is about making the Jamaican state more effective.
There are a lot of unemployed youths around the community and they won't work. Everyone needs money, so I guess it creates a chance for employment and better housing facilities, because some of the houses are not up to par up here.
The residents believe that if the Parliament building comes there, they can benefit from additional security. So the station here won't be short of police officers.
It's long in coming, That Parliament down there, to me, that outdated. We want a state-of-the-art thing. So whoever go do it, they're moving a step in the right direction.
We're going to build this Parliament, and we're going to do it the right way. We're going to take all concerns on board. We're going to take all suggestions on board. It is going to be bipartisan, multi-sectoral, and it will be done in the best interest of all the peoples of Jamaica.
It's really going to change the way that people think about Jamaican architecture.
The excitement is already in the air.
Now just imagine in a few years, this space and the wider downtown area will be transformed into a vibrant, enviable, iconic destination. The Houses of Parliament will be the anchor stone for all of that. It will hold a central position in Kingston, the capital. We will have 14 government ministries and core agencies conveniently and efficiently located within the 300 acres of surrounding land. Can you imagine the efficiency of that when we purposely plan and build for an efficient government?
Should Portmore become Jamaica's 15th parish? The Parliament wants to hear from you. Join the Joint Select Committee considering the proposal to make Portmore a parish as they host 2 virtual town hall meetings on Thursday, July 22nd and Thursday, July 29th at 6 p.m. Register for the town hall meetings on the Parliament's website at www.japarliament.gov.jm. Let your voice be heard.
Find out how some of our metal artifacts on display at our heritage sites are preserved. Next.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Headquarters House, home of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. We're going to take you through some of the ropes in the methods in conservation, so please come along with us. Thanks for joining us in our conservation lab. We have here working with us Mr. Darrington Ferguson as well as Mr. Frank Gale, and we'll be looking at some of the methods they will be applying to different material types for the preservation of our material culture of Jamaica. First of all, we have here some cannonballs that are usually found with some extent of corrosion. Mr. Ferguson is actually removing mechanically some of the concretion from a cannonball, and after he has removed that, then we would wire it. This wired metal object we would then install in our electrolytic tank. In the process of electrolysis, what we are actually doing, we are primarily reversing the process of corrosion. Once it has been electrolyzed, it would look something like this. So we would then proceed to brush to remove any loose rust that would be left on it. We would then put the iron object in some pure water, which we call deionized water, and that would be heated to ensure that the metal itself would facilitate the extraction of any impurities that might be left in the body of the iron. After that, we would dry the iron object. Most times we dry it in alcohol, and that would remove the water from the body of the object. And after drying, we would take a substance we call tannic acid, applying several coats, and it would form somewhat a stable surface for the iron object, and then the final stage is waxing to provide a coating or a lacquer on the surface of the iron object. Here we have Mr. Gale. He's actually applying orthophosphoric acid to remove slight rusting or corrosion from the case of a sword. He is actually using what we call a chemical as well as a mechanical means of so doing. We have close to it the extractor system, which is used to remove harmful fumes from the atmosphere in order to make the environment a much healthier one in which and a safer one for us to work. Lead corrodes by forming mainly lead sulfide and lead carbonate. So we would be soaking it first of all in ammonium acetate, and that would basically remove within a few hours the lead carbonate. In order to remove any residue of ammonium acetate that might be left on the lead, we would then rinse it quickly for a short time period. Just rinse it in a bath of a very dilute solution of hydrochloric acid. If there are any corrosion left at that stage, then we would remove that mechanically, either very likely with a glass bristle brush. After that, we do as we would with the iron. Coming over here now, we have copper or copper material. We have been soaking this copper in a substance we prepare in the lab, which we call alkaline Rochelle salt. The alkaline Rochelle salt will remove from it largely what we call bronze disease. So we soak it in the solution. The chemical will dissolve the bronze disease. After that has been dissolved, then we would rinse in, for example, a dilute solution of sulfuric acid to remove any slight impurities or corrosion product that might be left there. After that, we will, as we do with the other metals, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you were well informed by the information we've imparted today, and you're welcome to join us at any time, particularly at our heritage sites. And when you see our heritage sites, you see the artifacts that are there, you will appreciate to a greater extent the effort that has gone into its preservation.
My job is to ensure that every man, woman and child maintain good health at all times.
Our primary function is to ensure that government services are delivered effectively and efficiently.
We are building forward
together.
And that's all the time we have for you today on this station. We return tomorrow around about the same time with more information you can use to better your daily lives. We maintain a strong online presence. There's gis.gov.jm. There is social media and YouTube. Plus, we have a mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.